Good morning, family. This is another Talklets conversation. I told you previously that I was looking to go into more of a podcast type setting, if you will, environment. And that's what this platform is starting today. Uh, we won't change the mission, it still will be intentionally um, short in length, intentionally, but lengthy in substance. So stay with me. I think you're going to enjoy what God has to offer to us and through me for this particular setting. I've got a good one for us today, and I want you to just kind of think with me through this one because this is going to be a tough one for a lot of us. But at the end of it, it's all about resolution, it's all about redemption, it's all about deliverance and surrender. And so I just pray that you find yourself in your situation where you might be able to encourage your loved ones, especially your sons, as I'm going to speak to fathers in this particular setting, but it touches all of us. When was the last time that you can remember? That's important. When was the last time that you can remember that your father told you that he loved you? Yeah, that's going to take a moment for some of us. Just go back. Yeah, where were you? Uh, what did it feel like? What did it sound like? Can you hear it echoing now? Why did he say it? I mean, what was the moment like? What was going on? What day was it? What season was it? See, for many of us, we've never heard that. And so I'm going to ask you again, when was the last time that you can remember your father telling you that he loved you? Well, let me put it like this. When was the last time your father spoke life into you? Because the two go hand in hand. A father's voice is so powerful. And I think we just throw fathers away. Don't realize the importance of the image that's created in God's likeness. Uh, as fathers, we just push ourselves away. But your voice is so important, and these are kind of conversations I want to have, where we can just deal with stuff that's still hanging on, that still has us, if you will, handcuffed, in shackles. We still find ourselves being, walking, if you will, in our father's curses. And I want to make sure we free ourselves and understand how we got here and what can we do to make sure that the next generation is better. Because really and truly, you're better. You don't know it, but you're a lot better, a lot better. I'm looking at how we can emotionally drain ourselves on conversations like this, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to just stay focused on what we're really trying to do here. And that is to, like I say, that is to be deliberate in so many ways. For many of us, it's not the hardest question to ask. When was the last time I can remember my father, you know, telling me that he loved me? Uh, for most of us, we've never heard that. I mean, just being honest. I'm thinking that I'm by myself. I'm thinking that, you know, I'm the only one who's probably, is in this situation. And then I got to talking to friends and my peers and family members, and I realized this was just common. It wasn't me on an island by myself. It's like a lot of us never heard that from our fathers. Mothers, you guys, you throw it out there quite often, but from our fathers. Uh, Now, don't get me wrong. My father loved me, I'm quite sure, with every ounce of his body, his being. But those words, I never heard those words that I can recall. Some of you might want to debate me on this one, but this is my story. I'm just telling you. As I talk to my friends, I mean, I just spoke to my wife the other day, and she told me that she don't recall her mother ever telling her that she loved her. And I said, I know men, it's challenging for men to say it, but you'd think women, mothers would just kind of, just spew it out, It's just kind of common, just kind of natural. But let me tell you something. That's they're grown. I mean, they are living in the same generation. So if it was tough and challenging for fathers, then yeah, I can see that being kind of challenging for mothers as well because they are from that same cloth, if you will, and they just didn't do that. Now, now you and I, different ball game. But before I go there, in the book of Matthew, chapter 3, verse 17, there's a story about Jesus coming to John the Baptist, and he's asking John the Baptist to baptize him in the Jordan River. And of course, John doesn't feel worthy. I mean, come on, who is worthy? None of us. None of us. Not one. But John makes it clear, I'm not worthy. But Jesus tells him, this has to be done. There's a greater work ahead. I mean, this is where, John is about to fade off and Jesus is being introduced. But listen to this. Listen to this. I call it a platform, but it's more than that. It's a declaration. It's something to build off of what God says, what God speaks. And I just realized that we get all kind of books and read them and we listen to videos and we're on social media listening to all type of things pouring into us and polluting us at the same time, trying to educate us. But we listen to so much stuff. We've got so much stuff inside of us. And in Matthew chapter 3, verse 17, God makes this statement that really it's all we need. If we just listen to it, we could stay here for a whole year on just this one verse. This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Now, I tried to slow that down because probably 99.9% of us have never heard someone speak those words over our life. This is my beloved son. I love him like I love myself, in whom I am well, not just pleased, I am well pleased. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Have you ever spoke these words over your son, over your daughters? Have you ever told your wife how much you love her like this? Have you ever spoke this over your husband? To me, this is the blueprint of how we should speak life, speak love over our family members and with friends. Not that kind of on the phone call, I love you, hang up. Or, hey man, I love you, dog. Hey, hey boy, I love you. Not that stuff that we just say so freely off the cuff. This is some real stuff here. I mean, this is a blueprint. This is my beloved son, the Lord is telling us, in whom I am well pleased. I don't know how we got away from this. I don't know how we let this slip away from us to where we don't speak this. I don't sit my son down and speak this over him and speak like this into him. And because what I'm doing is, what the Lord is doing is he's publicly affirming Jesus. He's telling the whole universe, this is my beloved son. Because when you speak it, boy, everything wakes up and listens. Something this powerful. I mean, Jesus hadn't done anything yet. I mean, of significance, like all the miracles that hadn't been done yet, hadn't been accomplished. But God is speaking to his end before he anoints him on the beginning. He's speaking to his omega before he even gets started in his alpha. That's what God is doing. God is saying, I see greatness inside of you. I mean, have your father ever told you that? Hold up. Have you ever told your son that? You see, we're good at blaming other people. My father never told me. Well, hold up. let's back up a little bit. Let's put yourself in your father's shoes. Uh, Go back and just think, did your father's father tell him that? Did your father's father tell him that? Well, let's go further. Did your father tell him that? You see, it's generational. It just keeps on flowing. Now, I'm not going to give our parents an excuse, but let me tell you the mode they were operating in. They were operating in survival mode. I mean, their parents, especially their grandparents, they were coming out of slavery. I mean, they were just dealing with issues and struggles that we all deal with, okay? No excuses. But they were in survival mode. I mean, they did some bad things, some wrong things. We know some crazy things. It's this flesh. It does it. But they were in survival mode. And guess what? You're not in survival mode. You're not surviving. You're thriving. Yeah, they have blessed us. And so you and I, we're in thriving mode. And so it should be easier for us to read this and to understand it, to dissect it, to fall in love with it, to where now I'm speaking to my son like this. I'm telling him, uh, I'm sharing with him those things to be not as though I want them to be in his life, you know? Because I'm a little wiser, if you will. I've got a little bit more information because my father set me up to thrive. And he didn't want me surviving. And so they did the best they could with what they had. That's why I look at it. I don't blame my father. I don't blame my mother. I just look at them and I am blessed because of them. I tell my children, hey, if you get to be 18, you graduate from high school, I've done my job. I mean, I can do a lot more, but I've done my job. And so I might have done it pretty bad. I mean, I might have been just reckless as a father, but you're 18 now. Now go make it better for your family. Yeah, go make it better. Don't do what I did, do better. See, see, my father did a great job, if you ask me. He was surviving. I'm thriving. I think I'm doing a better job because he gave me that platform to do a better job, to love my wife, to love my sons and my daughters, and to my siblings. I mean, my friends, my cousins, them, if you will, my aunts and uncles. I mean, to be able to do more with more. And so, no blame game. God teaches us how to pour into our family members. Are you listening? So what are you doing with Matthew 3 and 17? I almost said Matthew 3 and 17. It is so powerful. This is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. Get out of the blame game. Yeah. Quit calling your mama up and just, just breaking her heart every time you talk to her because you're telling her what she didn't do, what she should have done. Quit that mess. You're a grown man. You're a grown woman. We all make mistakes. You're making mistakes right now. You call home talking about mistakes that were made with you. Stop that mess. Let me tell you what you haven't done. And the reason you hang on to this stuff is because you haven't surrendered. No. Mm-mm. And so those demons are whooping you. I mean, they're kicking your honey. And because you haven't surrendered, when you surrender, you break generational curses. You move yourself from one place to another. You come to yourself. I think that's the best way to put it. You come to yourself like a prodigal son. And you realize, hey, it's better at my father's house. Even though he cursed me out most of my life, even though he put his hands on me a couple of times, even, it's better, yes, in his house than it is where you've been living. His advice is better than the advice you've been given. Because most fathers speak life into their kids in just a different way. It's not verbal. It's just not. You just weren't taught that way. But there's no excuse for you. You've been taught that way. I mean, we say it's so easy. I remember the first time I told my father I love him, I think it was my first year out of college. He looked at me like I had two heads. And I realized what he had been missing. I realized that he probably had never heard that from another man his entire life. And so I kept saying it. I never stopped saying it. I tell my mother that was easy. She hugged and kissed on me, kissed on my head, and she called it Ford. Kiss Don, kiss Gracie Ford. Tell me to kiss my wife's head. if she wasn't around. That was my mother. Just huggy, huggy, lovey, lovey, kissy, kissy. My father, totally opposite. And I get it. I do get it. Don't mean it was right, but I get it. That's what some of you are. Verbally, you can share with your daughters and son, and you're still not doing it because you think you have to be hard to make them hard for this life. No, no, no. You have to educate them. You have to speak and communicate with them. See, that's our problem. I wish my father would have told me about, hey, don't go out there and get that girl pregnant. Don't you dishonor this family. My father never said that. He just let me do my thing. I knew better though. I knew I could not mess up his family. Yes, legacy. I knew he didn't want me going out there dishonoring his family. I mean, it's just the way he looked at me. It's and then watch this. And then there was conversations my mother and father was having with someone else in the house, another couple, and we're just sitting there listening as kids, and then they're telling us all the things that happened with some of the family, and they're not telling us that we shouldn't do certain things, but they're telling us by telling this family how wrong that was, and so you glean from that. That's where we got information. We glean from conversations that weren't directed at us, but indirectly they were directed at us. And they would tell you how bad that was what that young girl did, how bad that was that young man, what he did, or how bad those people did, that couple, those parents. And we just sitting there, best in the background, just listening, and you knew they were feeding you, educating you, without saying it to you directly. Some of you look at a little 13-year-old girl who gets pregnant, and you lose your wits. She's so nasty. That family so nasty. Da, 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 da. You just go off on the 13-year-old girl. Guess what? She didn't know no better. No one's ever taught her. You said, well, she should no, 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 no. I can almost guarantee you her father has never affirmed her as a young girl. Never. Because she's a girl. That's a baby. Haven't been affirmed. And look at you. And you pointing fingers at her. And you probably haven't been affirmed either. And you've done some things, not at 13, but you did it at 23. So here we go. Quit pointing fingers. We're all in this together. I mean, there's this gap though when you think about it. You have to just ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, what happens when words are missing? Yes. What happens when words are missing or were never spoken? What happens to us? I mean, how do we take that? I mean, why do you think previous generations, if you will, my father, my mother, their generation, struggled to express love verbally? I told you, they were surviving. They had this unspoken rule: you got to be tough because your son, this world will take him if you're not tough. You got to almost break him. So when you break him in your home, and then the world can't break him. Well, no, you break me, you break me. You don't make me by breaking me. You break me. I mean, that's just the truth. Now they just didn't understand that, but you break me, you break me. I told my friend, my father stopped spanking me. I forget what, maybe around 12 or so. I can't think of the age, but he never touched me again because he understood that if I keep spanking him at this stage, I'm gonna break him. He wasn't trying to break me. He was just trying to discipline me. And by this time, I knew better. I mean, he just would talk and just say stuff to me, little parables, but he didn't break me. He didn't keep hitting on me, slapping on me. No, no, no. He spanked me around the age of, I want to say 12. I could be wrong. It could be 11. It could be 13. But somewhere he just stopped and he just spoke to me from time to time and didn't speak a lot. He just said something. When he said something, it's like, you better be listening because he ain't coming again. You better be listening. And you better correct whatever you're doing. That's the way they were. We've lost it. We've lost our way. We still putting on hands on grown folks. Your daughter, 30 years old, you just slapped in the mouth. What's wrong with you? I'm serious. I don't know what we're doing. We have more education. We have more wealth. We have better living conditions. We have a lot of stuff that our parents didn't have. And it's like we went backwards. It's like we went backwards. Can love, wow, this is a big one. Can love be present without words. Hmm, that's a good one. And what still go missing when those words are never spoken? Let me say it again. Can love be present without words? Of course it can. My daddy was a great provider, great provisionary, always protecting us, putting in situations to be successful. Yeah, he did all that and then some. But the words, yeah. So he showed us through his physical deeds, if you will, to meet my physical needs. But emotionally, nah, nah, detached, detached. Just be honest, detached. So yeah, words, yeah, yeah, yeah. Words are important, but it's not just that. It's like it all has to come together. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at it, silence from our father, it didn't mean absence. Let me tell you what it meant. It meant absence of affirmation, which creates uncertainty. That's what it meant. Yeah, it wasn't absent like he wasn't there. It just meant that he didn't speak that love language that showed me that he cared from that perspective, and so it left me with uncertainty. I'm just I think he loves me. I mean, I pray he loves me, but I really don't know because he doesn't tell me. And so here comes the power of spoken identity. That's what the Lord did. My beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. He was shaping Jesus with his words. He was shaping his confidence, shaping his identity, shaping his direction and purpose in life. See, that's what we didn't get. That's what they didn't get. My father. That's what his father didn't get. That's what his father's father didn't get. And that's so important. Uh, what does a father's words actually do when he speaks life into his child? I mean, it's so powerful. When your father can speak life, oh my gosh, I run through a brick wall for him. I mean, my sisters, we all run through a brick wall. My brothers, we run through. I mean, I run through a glass plated window. I don't. Hey, my father said, "Do it." I'm doing it. That's how powerful a father's words are. That's so powerful. And you have to ask yourself, why does affirmation from strangers just feel cheap? I mean, I know you said you love me. I mean, I know you said I'm doing good. I know. I know. I played basketball at a very high level in high school and in college, and not once did my father say, "Hey, great game." Now, my uncles, my aunts, people raving about me in the city. Ooh, Donnie bad, Donnie boy, Donnie can. My father never. My father coming from a game, did you get that trash out? Did you just always run to something else? Never said, "How'd you do?" Or heard you did great. Just he just moved on. He just life was just moving on. He just, as they said, some people say he was just lifing. It wasn't about games. It was about taking care of business. It was about shaping me to be a young man who he would be proud of one day. But he never said anything. He just kept going. And that's many fathers, not just my father. Many fathers are like that. Let me tell you something. What happens um, when you look in the Word of God? You'll see where uh, Isaac affirmed his son Jacob, where Jacob affirmed his son Joseph, where Joseph affirmed his son Ephraim and Manasseh. They are always pouring into their children, sitting them down and speaking the blessing over them, because they had a blessing for them. If it was just verbally, it might not have been material, just verbally, but that was all they needed to just feel like they were Superman and Superwoman, to just get up and conquer the world. But we didn't get that, a lot of us. No, 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 no. We just got you better not get in trouble. You might not mess up this family's name. That's what we got. We got correction and judgment and all that type of stuff. But there's nothing like a father when he speaks prophetic identity and not criticism, not judgment over his children. I just pray that's what we start doing, that we start speaking life into our children. Yeah, I played ball at a high level. I was good, but that wasn't my father's goal for me. His goal was to make sure that I would be a honest living, if you will, adult. that I would be someone who he wouldn't have to bail out of jail, out of prison, that I would be honorable and faithful to the family. And being the oldest son, I'm the pattern, so I've got to walk a tightrope. And I did, for the most part. Don't get me wrong. He taught me well. Those things that would keep me alive. I told you he was surviving. Yeah, he taught me some survival skills too, even though I was thriving off the top of those skills. We live now where culture tells us how to be loved, my love language, and then we got ourselves into this whole overcorrection thing right now. And don't get me wrong, women have been mistreated so bad, and we all know it. And so there's an overcorrection though, and which brings about all this confusion now. When you look at it between the culture and overcorrection, now we have confusion. I mean, you're looking at masculinity; it swings from silence to distortion now. Yeah, yeah. We're going to shift everything over here. So what happens when fathers are emotionally absent? Who fills that role? Mm-mm. You can't fill that role. I told you how important your father is. No one can fill that role when he's absent. I mean, if he's dead and gone, then yeah, we gravitate toward other men or other uncles or people, coaches. But when he's there, no one fills that role. Not like him. Have we overcorrected from being tough to being emotionally confused? Yeah, I think we have. I think we pushed it. We moved the needle too far one way. One way. We moved it way too far one way. And there's an imbalance here. So you've got mothers now pouring all they can into their sons, and so here comes this feminine approach to his emotions. I mean, somebody's got to do it. So don't get me wrong. I'm not faulting you. I'm just saying that's a lot to put on a young man. All of you on him. He needs his father balancing that out. And if he doesn't have a father, please find someone who can be a part of his life that can help him feel because he's got things in him that's fighting inside of him and he can't figure it out because he's got so much of you, yeah, your feminine qualities on him. And I know you're not trying to make him feminine, but I'm just saying that's you are who you are. You got to balance it off. Emotional leadership is something that we have to look at as well. It's different in every man, uh, but it's necessary. We've got to show our sons and daughters that we can cry, that we are emotionally attached and not detached from things in life because sometimes we leave it all up to the women. And I'm sorry, that's not their place. They have a place, but it's not their place to be in your place. You've got to be able to sit down with little Susie and talk to her. Tell her value. I mean, I don't know who else can tell you your daughter her value more than you and better than you that she's going to trust. That way you don't see her going out like the 13-year-old girl. She knows her value. She tells a little boy, no, no, that's nasty. She tells him, no. Because my father has told me the truth about this. My father has poured into me. My father has told me that I'm a queen. And I can't let you mess with me as a queen. I mean, you'll mess up me from getting my king. See, little girls are not told that. They live in fantasy world because they see all this stuff on TV. But what? They need a father who tells them their value. Yeah, what he sees in them. I mean, he sees her being the CEO of some company. He sees her being a doctor, a lawyer. He sees her being the best school teacher. He sees her being the best librarian. But he's pouring into her the values and quality that little girls should have inside of them. Only a father can do that. No, mamas can't do that. Only a father. Mamas try, but a father can do that, and she will listen, and she will trust that. Let me tell you what's happening. If we're not pouring into our sons and daughters, they're getting married to one another. Let me tell you what's happening there. You got a bride and you got a bridegroom, and they're entering marriage. Watch this. They're entering this holy matrimony, and neither have ever experienced genuine affirmation. They've never experienced a father telling them how much he loved them. Neither one. But they're coming together, and you got two wounded people. Listen to me. coming together, and two wounded people, they can't create wholeness. They can't create oneness. Now over time it'll work, but they're not given that kind of time. People divorcing in 6 months, in a year, because there's too much friction. Because you got two people looking for a father figure within each other. Yeah, the husband looking at the wife and trying to find the father in there. He ain't in there. She looking at the wife, looking at the husband, trying to find the father figure. He ain't in there because he ain't mature enough yet. He will get there, but he ain't mature enough yet. He's looking for what you're looking for. So you got two people with all this friction who lost. Wow. Man, we have a responsibility. A man who was never affirmed struggles to lead with confidence. I'm telling you. If you've never been affirmed, you struggle to lead with confidence. You can lead, but not with confidence. You're all over the place. You're going to and fro. You wishy-washy. That's what you are. I mean, you mean well. It will take some time to get there. But you're going to struggle with your confidence. A woman who has never been affirmed, she struggles to feel secure in love. She loved that rascal. He loves her, but she struggles believing that. She don't know what that looks like because she's never been shared or showed or told from her father how that should look. He's never held her, and I mean, come on, he's just never poured into her what she needs. So what happens is the question. Let me tell you what happens. The husband shuts down. He just goes into isolation. He's in his man cave all by himself. The wife, she reaches out. She's talking to everybody, trying to fix it, trying to figure it out. And she's talking to people who don't mean her no good, who are broken themselves. I mean, you got people trying to counsel you, and they broken on top of broken. And here you are, got two people. He ain't speaking. He ain't shut up. And she looking all over the place for an answer. Isn't that something? Now, he doesn't know how to express love. And that's tough. Because that's what her body, she's urging for love. She's urging to be loved. And she wants to know how to do this, but she's insecure now. She don't quite, she wants it, but she fears it. Yeah. She doesn't know how to receive it without fear. Because it's unnatural. It's something. Love is unnatural. And holy matrimony, love is unnatural for both of them rascals. Because they never had it the way they should have had it. And me and you, come on, we're the same thing. And we don't go to the root of the issue. We fight each other. We start fighting over communication. You don't talk enough. You don't know how to talk, and then we fight over finances. Well, you just reckless with them. We just keep fighting over issues. We fight over intimacy. Well, we don't have enough sex. You don't pleasure me. Then we fight over control. And both of us just fighting over control. Who should control who? Really? Wow. And this is how things are going. And listen to me. We're asking our spouse to fill a space that only a father, wow, was meant to occupy. You hear me? Only your father was meant to occupy that space in your relationship, in your life. But you're asking a spouse to fill it. And they don't have the credentials. Only a father does. Father, that's why it's so important. Don't let your daughter go into marriage being wounded. Come on. It exposes her. Yeah, she needs you to father her before she goes into that. I mean, she's designed for you to father. Yeah, to cover up her wounds, to mend her wounds. Because she's going to go through life through some stuff. But she needs a father to be there, to talk to her, to pour into her, to let her know things are going to be okay. And guess what, fathers? That responsibility, you can't outsource that responsibility. That's all yours. That's on you. So what does a son learn when his father never affirms him? He goes into his own head and becomes his own counselor. And so he, whatever he has in there, that's what he's dealing with. 'Cause he's not going to God more than likely. So he's inside of his own head, and he's doing his own therapy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that ain't gonna work. But that's what he's doing. He's doing the best he can with what he has. He's not trying to tell everybody else, but he's trying to stay within himself because he's a young man. He thinks he has to do it by himself. Why would you put your son in that predicament? That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing with your daughter. I mean, what does a daughter search for when a father never, I do mean never, covers her emotionally? She goes out and she tries to please everybody she can to find that emotional attachment. And so what does she use? What do you think she has to use? And you set her up for that failure by not being in her life, by not being able to correct her, to share with her how important she is, how valuable she is. She's a precious jewel. I mean, come on. And your son is no different. He's precious as all outdoors. He is, yeah, he is the package. He is the real deal. Let no one fool you. He's a man created in God's image. But fathers, he don't know that. He just out here trying to make it happen. And that's dangerous. Because you got a culture, ooh, mm-mm. They're going to define what he should be because you didn't. But let me tell you something. If you don't speak identity into your son, into your daughters, into your children, the world will. And they have no mercy for them. Listen to that. If you don't speak their identity into them, this culture, this world will, without mercy. That's on you. How do we break this generational silence? How do we break this of not affirming our daughters and sons, of not loving them, of not showing them how to be loved? Even though we weren't loved, how do we break it still so that they can be better and not bitter? Well, guess what? Healing starts right now. Let me give you a few, if you will, tools for your toolbox. Let's do it now, not later. Well, when I read a few books, like no. You got time for that? I mean, life is moving. You got time? I mean, you read some books, but let's do this right now. What if you never receive uh, words of love? I mean, can you give them? See, it's tough. I mean, how does a man speak life over another man if he never had life spoken into him? Tough. So when you look at it, what roles does relationships, this is a good one, with God play in speaking identity into others? I want to go back to Matthew 3 and 17. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. So let me give you some practical application. Starting today, speak love into your son, into your daughters. Hug them, yes, yes, and just speak their identity into them. Share with them the vision that you have for their life, what you see over them. Just lay before God. God will show you. Speak blessings over them, not judgment, not curses. I mean, come on, be there for them because they need you now, not later. They need you now. When was the last time? This is a big one. Someone's life changed because of something you said. You got nephews, you got nieces. I pray you're speaking life over them. I pray you're encouraging them. I pray you're loving on them as well. When was the last time someone's life changed because of something you said? Now, if you're a bully, I'm quite sure you've destroyed somebody. But you should be someone who's a nurturer, who's nourishing someone, not a neuterer, someone who's cutting someone off, who's destroying someone's life. Yeah, let's be nurturers, not neuters. Let's be bigger than what we've been taught and what we learned. Because you have to realize in the book of Proverbs it says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. What are you saying? Are you building me up with your words or are you tearing me down? Yeah. You know those saying, a foolish woman can tear a house completely down, but a wise woman will build it up. Are you wise or are you foolish? Men, I'm talking to you as well. I mean, on this one especially, I just use that one for all of us. Are you a wise man or are you a foolish man? Hug your sons. This is our challenge for this week, for this year of 2026. Hug your sons and your daughters. Affirm your daughters. Bless your grandchildren. Speak life. Speak life, yes, out loud. Let the world know what little Johnny, what you think of little Johnny, what you think of little Susan. I mean, let the whole world know. Yeah, how you affirm your daughters, how you hug and affirm your sons. I mean, they know that you love them. The world knows. There's no doubt about it. Well, they're my car, they're my kids. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's an identity that they're yours. But the identity that you have blessed them, man, that just that just rings, that just echoes throughout the universe. And that's powerful because it's like a boomerang. It's got to come back. And I pray it comes back to your children. But if you put nothing out there, I mean, what's coming back? What the culture has given them? That's what you're doing. You're leaving it up to other people when it's your responsibility. Father, I pray for healing of silent wounds because we've all been wounded somewhere along this journey from my father, his father, his father's father, his father's father's father. It just keeps going from the beginning of time. I pray that you restore us, the voice that we have as men, that we have as fathers. Restore us, Lord. Restore our voice to where it echoes and we're not ashamed to use it. I know that other people can talk louder than us, but Father, it's not about talking loud. It's about talking with identity, with purpose. And then, Lord, I pray that give us the courage to speak love without fear, without being nervous, without being anxious. Father, let it become a new normal to not just say the words, but to have identity and purpose in the words that we say. Yes, Lord. Do I remember the last time my father told me he loved me? Wow, that's a tough one. I do know that I'm a joint heir with Jesus Christ. And if God said, "This is my beloved Son, whom I am well pleased," if I'm a joint heir with Christ as a believer, then guess what? He's speaking to me also. So I have no excuses. So let me get busy, loving and affirming. You be blessed. Until next week.